when your body is in a state, when your nervous system is in a state of survival mode with money, and survival mode in general, okay, you are continuously being wired to scan for threats. You're scanning for threats. You're scanning for what could go wrong. You're scanning for the shoe to drop. You're scanning and scanning and scanning for all of these things. Instead, you should be scanning for your blessings. Instead, you should be scanning for the magic. Instead, you should be scanning for the miracles, expecting the miracles, even if it seems like the shoe might drop. Peace and prosperity. Welcome to the Feminine Power Channel, where feminine wisdom and spirituality becomes tangible wealth, love, and life design. My name is Esaia the Creatrix, and I am the woman who makes the invisible feminine principles make sense in visible magnetic results. Here we awaken your divine feminine authority, not just to feel powerful, but to live powerfully through your money, relationships, and your embodiment. If you're ready to manifest your soft, most abundant life by leading with feminine power in the material world, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and stay tuned until the very end. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how your nervous system has a money set point. And this video is a piggyback off of my reel that I recently did on how women subconsciously block money. In this video, I'm breaking down essentially how there are two main ways that women typically block money from their reality. And usually when we're blocking money from coming into our life, it's not because we actually want to block the money from coming into our life. It's because our nervous system only feels safe with a certain pattern or a certain way of dealing with and handling money. And that pattern is either going to be compatible with the vibration of money or incompatible with the vibration of money. So in today's video, I want to help you really get comfortable and learn how you can start to ease and soothe your nervous system into feeling safer with money and larger, more fulfilling capacities and amounts of money. Before we begin, I want to invite you into the Creatrix Collective. We're gathering for a beautiful new moon ritual that is opening the portal and your unique path to divine purpose and abundance. We're also starting the 30-day money frequency reset, which is a daily recalibration into feminine ease and wealth flow. And for those of you feeling called to go deeper, I want you to take a deep breath. Yes, soften your shoulders a bit. If you are ready to unlock your highest feminine wealth frequency, I want you to comment "I receive" down below in the comments. That single word opens up your field to join us inside of Safe to Receive, the $10,000 feminine windfall activation, where you learn to let money and miracles find you effortlessly. Now that that's been said, without further ado, let's hop straight into the video. Let's talk about how your nervous system has a money set point and why you either keep feeling like you're losing your money, or you are feeling like you cannot grow your money. Let's start off talking about the first end of the spectrum here, which is the woman who feels like she needs to hoard her money, keep her money to herself. Okay, women like this is what they typically look like. These women typically make money. Okay, they typically have money. However, they're consistently identifying with an identity that says, I do not have as much as the next person, or I cannot afford the things that I really want in life. So even though I have something, I have to keep it small, I have to keep it guarded, I have to keep it limited. Otherwise, I won't be able to sustain myself. I won't be able to survive. These women typically look like the women who actually have money coming in, okay? I'm saying that because a lot of the times I meet women like this, usually are pretty well off in my eyes. Okay, they're well off as far as what I can see that they actually have. These women probably have a lot of things, right? A lot of possessions. Heck, they might own a lot of stuff. Okay, homes, cars, whatever. Or, it could just be that they have a lot of things. I specifically know one of my neighbors fits this description so perfectly because she has a lot of things. Okay, she has a lot of things, and she actually went through this phase where she felt like she needed to get rid of all the things she had because she had so many things. But as I looked further or deeper into her life, I also saw that she also had money too. She was sitting on money that she wasn't doing anything with because she was afraid of her own money. Okay, one of her family members passed away, and her sister lucked up, and the family member passed down her property to them. And so they prepared the property, cleaned it up, got it ready to be sold. And once they sold the property, they both walked away with $250K, give or take. Okay, the property was worth $500,000 altogether. Okay, so they walked away with $250,000 each. When this happened, okay, she did not want to have any access to the money. She gave her sister basically all the access to the money, to both of their money, because she didn't want to have access to it. And she was still acting like she was impoverished. Okay, even though she just had $250K stowed away in some savings account, she was still feeling like she wasn't wealthy. This is how this first end of the spectrum works. Like it looks like women who actually, when you look at their lives, they actually make money. They might even have a savings account that they've saved up money and everything like that, but they don't feel like they can spend their money. They don't feel like they can invest it because they are afraid of doing that. And this is where we're going to get into why a lot of these women who are like this are afraid of working their money, putting their money to work, investing their money, and things like that.
Okay, another really important story I want to tell that highlights how important it is to be able to recognize when you have this pattern of wanting to hoard or protect or guard your money at your detriment, like to the point where it's hurting you, is definitely when you have a huge fear of working your money. Because I can remember actually telling my mom, I was urging her, I was like, look, I think it would be a really good idea to take all of the money, or even a significant portion of the money that you have sitting in your savings account, and to invest it into Bitcoin. Okay. At that time, Bitcoin, and I was one of the people who knew about Bitcoin early on when it was like $300. And at that time, I believe Bitcoin was down to like $2,500. It had shot up to 20K, and then it went down to like $2,500, $3,000. And I was like, look, Mom, you need to put all your savings into this coin. It's going to hit, like, it's going to get bigger. I just know it is. And I was 100% sure about that decision. I had spent a lot of time in the crypto world around people who were into crypto and everything like that. So I was fully confident in that decision. And when I presented it to her, it was like, I can't lose my money. That was the main feeling that she had, was like, I can't lose that savings account money. I can't lose it, right? And the one thing that I understood was that the money at some point was going to get spent on something. And you can either spend it or invest it into something that you know is going to pay off for you and let that money expand you into a higher income bracket, or you can let that money keep you comfortable. And that's what she ended up doing. She let the money keep her comfortable and eventually ended up spending the money. And now, to this day, I believe like Bitcoin hit $100,000. So just imagine if she had put her $20,000 in savings into that. My mom would probably be a millionaire right now. And I wish I had the money to invest into Bitcoin back then. Back then, I was pretty much broke. So, you live and you learn. But that is something I thought that was really important to share. So now let's get into the other end of the nervous system money set point spectrum.
And this is going to be the woman who is on the other end of the spectrum. And this is the woman whose nervous system also does not feel safe with money. How does this play out? It plays out in a way to where she feels like whenever she gets money, especially if it is a large amount of money, she's going to do the opposite of what I explained, about my neighbor. Okay. Instead of locking it away and never touching it and acting like it doesn't exist, this woman is going to spend it, but she's going to spend it in a way where her nervous system is still not feeling safe. Okay, so this is anxiety driven spending. This is spending money that's still in a state of I don't have any money. And this is why when lottery winners or people manifest large amounts of money will go bankrupt within a few years, this is the reason why. It's because their nervous system does not feel safe with having a lot of money. This is where, when you are still in that state of survival, when your nervous system is still in that state of survival, it's not even that you're spending money on things that don't matter or that you don't need to spend money on. A lot of the times what ends up happening is you get this money, okay? You get this amount of money that you've never experienced having before. And now all of a sudden, something happens with your car. You've got to fix it. Something happens with something in your home. You got to pay for that. Something happens with your health or your child's health or something like that. You got to spend money, okay? This typically is what starts causing people to, they either do one or two things in these scenarios, okay? They will either start to get upset with the external thing, right? They'll get upset with the external thing and be like, oh, another thing I have to pay for. Griping and moaning and groaning about taxes. Okay, I just did a video around that. Taxes, fines, bills, right? They get in a state where the external bill becomes the problem. And that's where all their focus and attention goes. And so they start to produce more of that energy. Or the other thing that happens is that they start to internalize that and they start to feel like, I can never keep any money. Money never wants to stay with me, right? And those feelings start to come up. Those thoughts start to come up. And that's what gets fed. Either way, you are still feeding the vibration of I'm not safe with money, whether you're focusing on the external thing or you're focusing on the internal emotions and thoughts, okay? And you're feeding those doubtful, hypercritical thoughts of yourself. When women are leaning on this other side of the spectrum, and mind you, I'm bringing up both women because both women are the same women, okay? They're just being expressed in different ways. And this is exactly why the first woman acts the way she does when it comes to her money and she doesn't want it to go anywhere, because she's probably been the other woman before to where money seems like it's just flying away and she can never keep it and she can never hold it. Because she had those experiences, maybe she did invest into something one time and the investment didn't work out, okay? Something was sketchy about the investment or she got scammed or something like that, right? There might also be an experience here that causes this woman or yourself to feel like money doesn't want to stay with me. And so this is what creates this first woman in this other end of the spectrum, okay? Where she wants to hoard and save and keep her money to herself, okay? And she doesn't even trust herself with her own money, especially if it's large amounts of money, because she knows that she's still in that vibration of survival. Another way that this can play out, the way that I've seen, is my mom used to tell me stories about her sister or one of her friends, how they made more money than her when they got older, right? They were both making way more money than her, yet they consistently were getting into predicaments where they were ended up asking my mom for financial help. Okay, and my mom would be like, what? Like, what is going on? You make at least, 20K more than my mom a year. And, so my mom is like, what's going on? Like, why are you asking me for money? You make way more than me. And it's because of the nervous system set point with money. Okay, a lot of people say it's a budgeting issue. They think about it in a very masculine sense. Oh, you need to understand and budget your money. You need to figure out like how to do everything in the practically correct way. But a lot of the times, even when women do these things in the practically correct way, they still have this ongoing feeling of anxiety and survival, right? Not safety, okay? When it comes to money, even when they're budgeting. So they end up transferring that fear and that scarcity and that survival into their budgeting and into the way that they manage their money. So the issue isn't in the budgeting. The budgeting can provide structure, yeah, but it has to first come from that inner safety first. Safety first. We understand safety first, when we're crossing the street and when we're driving cars and things like that. But do we understand safety first on an emotional level, on a nervous system level? Not so much. When you have money, when you are manifesting money, and then suddenly something breaks that you have to pay for and fix. Suddenly something in your home needs tending to, or your health, or something like vital where you're like, I have to spend money on this. There's no way that I can't pay for this. I have to pay for this. This is not a coincidence, okay? This is your nervous system literally regulating itself back to its financial comfort zone. Does it always have to manifest in needs and things that you have to pay for that deal with your practical, physical survival needs? No, it doesn't always have to manifest in that way. Sometimes it can manifest from your own insecurities around money and you feeling insecure about your capacity and your ability to continue manifesting more and more and more money. This is where women fall into the spectrum of feeling like they have to invest in something, feeling like they have to spend their money on something in order for their financial reality to change. It's almost like it feels like a pressure to spend. You feel a pressure to spend on a new wardrobe or a new this or a new that. And a lot of times this feeling comes up, especially when you have felt deprived of money. And so when you get that money, you feel like you have to literally explode with spending, right? And spending. But the thing is here that this is also coming from a place of not feeling safe. It's the same vibration, okay? And this is where women get into situations where they are spending and investing, right? You might even be investing your money into mentally wise, great ventures, right? Makes perfect sense to invest your money into these things. But if you are investing it from a place of insecurity, okay, that is where the issue lies. And that is where you end up all over the place and spending your money till it's gone, or at least you perceive that it's gone. The money insecurity spending typically falls along the lines of you being a shopaholic, feeling like you always need the next best thing, the next best outfit, the next best whatever, or you want to buy things to impress other people. You are spending money from a place of insecurity, not so that you can be happy and give yourself happiness, but because you feel insecure. I want to bring up a story that is incredibly relevant to how the nervous system has a money set point and how your nervous system will create a reality that is within your comfort zone and within what you are used to experiencing. And this story is not a story that I share often, because honestly, I wouldn't wish this experience on anyone. But when I went through postpartum, right after I had my daughter, okay, not too long after I had her, I want to say 6 months after I had her, she was about 6 months old, I started having extreme panic attacks. The scariest time of my entire life. I can remember I was going to a family gathering, and I was at the family gathering, and my cousin had made marijuana cookies. I don't know if you can say that on YouTube, but my cousin made, some ganja cookies, and I was like, she offered me one. I had been, left ganja behind. I hadn't smoked or touched the herb in, I want to say at least a year and a half, at least, if not 2 years. And so I was like, I don't know, but I would like to relax a little bit. So I took her cookie that she gave me, and I ate one piece of this cookie. Okay. Now, I don't even really feel like I need to intertwine the cookie with it, but I do feel like the cookie or the ganja at that time activated something in me. I already had anxiety, but when I ate a piece of the cookie, it was like it woke up a level of anxiety that I was just not prepared for. And so I drove home from that family gathering feeling very anxious. I parked my car, my baby was in the back seat, and I remember just feeling so anxious. I didn't really know what I was feeling at the time, because I had never been through anything like that. I went upstairs. I was trying to calm down. I was waiting for the rest of my family to get home, and I just went into this full-blown panic attack. I mean, it was really bad. If anybody has experienced panic attacks, you know that there's something, if you actually have a really bad panic attack, because some people be saying they have panic attacks, and I don't know what you think a panic attack is. Because some of y'all just be breathing really hard, and then you like, I had a panic attack. Like, people who have panic attacks and chronic anxiety, it's not a joke, and it's not fun whatsoever. You literally feel like you're about to leave the earth, okay? And the reason that you feel that way is because you experience something called derealization during your panic attack. And derealization, okay, hang with me, this is relative to what I'm talking about. Derealization is something that happens to where you basically lose touch with reality. Reality is no longer perceived in the way that you normally perceive it. You don't see things the same. You can't feel things the same. Okay, I wasn't able to feel my daughter. I remember trying to hold her, and I couldn't feel her body. I couldn't feel my own body. My heart rate was beating so fast. That was the worst day of my life, hands down. One of the worst days ever. And after that day, I continued to have anxiety, and I continued to experience that derealization experience almost every single day for 2 years straight. It was that bad. I didn't start feeling grounded and normal again until I started learning how to get my body to calm down and get my body to feel safer again. A few of the things that I did, number one, I started getting chiropractic care. Okay. Your spine is your nervous system in and of itself. And my spine was holding so much trauma from over the years. Okay. And because my pregnancy experience was such an traumatic experience, the trauma was like overloaded in my spine. And once I started undergoing chiropractic care, little by little, that anxiety started to get better. It wasn't completely gone, but it was getting better. Another thing that I started to do is I started to ground myself and make sure my body had all the nutrients that it needed. One of the things, most important things, was magnesium. Okay. You can tell somebody to calm down. You can tell yourself to calm down. But if you don't have magnesium, if you don't have enough magnesium in your system, if you don't have enough of it, really any mineral that your body needs in your system, it's impossible for you to function normally, for you to think normally, for you to behave normally. Okay. So getting grounded into your body is more than just about breathing and relaxing. You can't get there mentally all the time. Most of the time, you have to make sure your body has everything that it needs to feel safe and to feel relaxed. And so the magnesium and the chiropractic care was my baseline for just feeling more relaxed, okay, and more at ease. The main thing that I want to highlight from this story is that when it comes to realizing your desired reality with money, think about the word derealization. It's like you're derealizing your physical experience, okay? When we understand it in the medical sense, you're derealizing your physical reality, right? Everything in your physical reality, you don't feel it the same way. And it's almost like it isn't there. So the same thing can happen when it comes to your nervous system set point with money. You can begin to derealize, okay, your manifestations with money because your nervous system is in a state of anxiety. It is in a state of fear. It is in a state of panic when it comes to money. So even though you might make money, boom, something's coming up that you have to spend your money on. Survival needs. Boom, something's coming up that's triggering your insecurities about money. So you have to pay for this thing. You have to invest your money into this. You have to do this with money. Da 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 da. Okay? This is all you derealizing your money safety. So when your nervous system has a certain set point for its safety with money and you go beyond that, you get a cash influx, you get a raise, somebody wants to give you a gift, a man wants to give you a gift, a man wants to give you some money, your subconscious will start to realize events, right? Your subconscious is what's bringing everything into reality. Your subconscious is the moon, okay? Is where the moon is operating from. The moon is what is manifesting everything into being. Your moon, aka your subconscious, will create events that will rebalance you back to that original set point that you are comfortable with. Car issues, bills, emergencies. But this is the thing. Your body isn't trying to block you from your blessings, it's just protecting you from what doesn't feel safe yet to hold. When you are actively derealizing your money and your reality, you can't feel the money that you've manifested in the same way that I couldn't feel my surroundings, my environment, my baby, my daughter when I was holding her. Okay? It broke my heart to have to go through that. And like I said, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Okay, maybe I would, I don't know. But when you're derealizing your money, you might also downplay it, right? Like my neighbor did with the $250,000, dollars, where I'm like, well, look, you could go on vacation, you could buy your house, you could do. She's like, nope, nope, I'm not touching it. I'm not and I'm like, and then you know what else she did after that? Start complaining about money. Start complaining about people with money. People who have Airbnbs are evil. And, I'm just like, listen, miss me with that bullshit. Okay, that's exactly why you're struggling to hold your money. Because you are fearful of it. You downplay it when you receive it. You spend it impulsively to get rid of the anxiety of having it. You give it to somebody else to handle, which may or may not be the best idea. It's like your blessings are arriving at your front door, but your nervous system is having a hard time unlocking it. So this is the good part. This is where we're going to start moving from survival to safety. And I want you to understand, when your body is in a state, when your nervous system is in a state of survival mode with money, and survival mode in general, okay, you are continuously being wired to scan for threats. You're scanning for threats. You're scanning for what could go wrong. You're scanning for the shoe to drop. You're scanning and scanning and scanning for all of these things. Instead, you should be scanning for your blessings. Instead, you should be scanning for the magic. Instead, you should be scanning for the miracles, expecting the miracles, even if it seems like the shoe might drop. This is the key feeling that you want to begin to embrace. And it lines up with what I was talking about earlier. When it came to my anxiety and my derealization, I had to start grounding myself into my body in order for that anxiety and derealization in my physical body to reduce itself and over time completely just stop happening. When it comes to your money, I want you to make sure you are also grounding yourself. Ground yourself before you look at your bank account. Ground yourself before you are deciding to invest in something or spend your money on something. Ground yourself before you anxiously decide to lock your money away with a key or not take a risk on your money that actually could be rewarding based off of your fears. So this is a practice that you can begin doing as it relates to money that really will start to rewire your relationship energetically and nervous system wise when it comes to your money. Whenever you have money that arrives to you, you can simply place your hand on your heart, affirm, it is safe for me to hold wealth. It is safe for me to invest wealth. You want your predominant vibration around money to be one of peace, not anxiety. To be one of, oh, there's money there. Great. You don't feel this imminent urge to hurry up and spend it. And you also don't feel this imminent urge to hurry up and lock it away. You just feel like, oh, that's nice. I have money. Love to see it. Moving on. I want you to track those calm moments that you have with money. Repeat and even intentionally have those calm moments with money and cash flow, whether it's flowing in or flowing out. This is teaching your body stability. Stability begins within you, and your reality outside of you is upholding that stability that you have within you. The feminine path isn't about chasing money. It's about becoming the woman who can emotionally, energetically, somatically hold and expand wealth. You do not expand your income by working harder. You expand it by deepening your safety with it. And inside of Safe to Receive, we're doing this exact rewiring, moving from survival-based money patterns to the energy of feminine safety, emotional regulation, and open receptivity. If you're ready to finally feel safe holding wealth, not just manifesting it, comment receive down below and I'll send you the details to enroll. The price is going up on October 21st, so make sure you snag your spot before then. All right, my loves, thank you so much for joining me. And if I'm going to leave you with anything, I'm going to leave you with this. You cannot hold heaven in a body that still feels like it's in danger. The moment your body feels safe with abundance, it stops running from it. All right, my loves, my last message to you is this. I am on a mission to help more women awaken their feminine power and divine authority in this material world. So if this message resonated with you today, share it with a sister, a friend. Hit the like button to amplify this frequency and subscribe so we can grow this feminine power movement to 10,000 subscribers strong before the end of the year. I love you so much. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Take care.